Hello viewers, welcome to another video. This video is slightly different from my channel niche, but I want to publish this video because it has a lot of information and a very interesting information about the 10 most famous women in the world. So I will start this video by a very famous saying that some women are meant to change the world while some are meant to hold it together. So today I'll be talking about those women who have changed the world by their actions. Now first of all, there can be many rationales of popularity. For example, there can be a famous celebrity or a famous athlete, a ruler, a scientist, or also a social worker. Also, it depends on the era which we are talking about. So, what I have done, I have considered famous women from all these categories in order to show the diversity and the dominance in different roles of their life. So let us begin by introducing our first personality, who is Marie Curie, a Polish born in 19th century. She is a pioneer physicist and a scientist. She discovered two radioactive elements, polonium and radium, and also she developed portable X-ray machine. These two discoveries have paved the path for cancer patient treatment therapy. She has won two separate Nobel Prizes, one for the physics and other for the chemistry. And to this day, she is the only person regardless of the gender who have received two Nobel Prizes for two different sciences. So, I have also mentioned her famous quote that is nothing in this life to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Our next personality is a Rosa Parks. She is an African American living in Alabama who challenged race segregation in America in 1955 by refusing to give her a seat on a bus to a white person so that he could sit on. Her protest was supported by many African Americans, and her arrest sparked the civil rights movement, which eventually won equal rights for black and white people in US in 1960. The Rosa Parks was honored a title of Mother of Civil Rights Movement by US Congress. After 4 years of her death, Barack Obama became the first African American US president, and he honored this lady in one of his speeches. Another very famous woman was Ada Lovelace of 19th century, and she was an English mathematician and the world's first computer programmer. She wrote a first program for a mechanical computer. It took almost a century for the people to appreciate her notes on Babbage analytical engine, and this was the first mechanical computer developed by her husband and was recognized as the first description for computer software. Another is Amelia Earhart from 19th century. She was an American aviator and who was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic, and she was the first person ever to fly solo from Hawaii to the US. Her attempt to become the first person ever to circumnavigate the globe has led to her disappearance in 1937 and presumed death in 1939. And her disappearance is still the mystery of 21st century. Her common saying was, women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to the others. Another very famous and dominant personality of the history is Catherine the Great, also known as Catherine II, who was the Empress of Russia from 1762 to 1966, making her the longest ruling female empress of Russia for 34 years. She expanded her empire by diplomacy and conquest, making it one of the powerful countries in the Europe. During her reign, Turks faced heaviest defeats in their history, and she managed to add 200,000 square miles in Russian territory. She also established a first educational institute for the women, and also her era was very famous for modernizing Russia, and she also encouraged development of economy, trade and arts. I hope you all know about this personality because she is Mother Teresa, an international symbol of charitable work. She born in Albania and she lived most of her life in India. In 1950, she founded Missionaries of Charity, aimed to provide free hospitals, free education, and shelter to the homeless and the poor people. She was so famous that her organization has spread to 700 missions in more than 130 countries. Apart from her humanitarian activities, she was also very famous for her quotes. We ourselves feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean, but ocean will be less because of that missing drop. And in 1979, she was awarded Nobel Peace Prize for her work for the poor people. Anne Frank was a German teenager girl who, with her family, spent most of her time in a slavery during World War II. The Diary of the Anne Frank is the most famous book translated into more than 70 languages. Her book was an honest and an intimate portrayal of one of the most inhuman moments during World War II. Again, a very fearless and the dominant personality is Queen Elizabeth I of 16th century. She ruled over England and Ireland for 45 years. Her era was considered a golden age for the English literature and English exploration. Also, the defeat of Great Spanish Armada was one of the famous victories in the English history. Elizabethan religious settlement and her establishment of more than 100 of laws on shipping, industry, commerce shaped the policy of the England for the next 2 centuries. I've also included an athlete who is, I think, the most famous and the dominant athlete ever in the history of women's sports. And she is Serena Williams of 21st century, an American professional tennis player who has won 23 single Grand Slams in open era, the most by any player. Also, she has won 14 doubles and 2 mixed Grand Slams, making her the third in the list to ever won 39 Grand Slams. She was also declared world rank number 1 for 8 different occasions. She is the only player to have won 3 of the 4 Grand Slams at least 6 times. She is also included in the Forbes list of 100 highest paid athletes with $27 million in prize money. Last but not the least is Malala Yousufzai, who is a Pakistani activist for female education. She is the youngest Nobel Prize laureate, and according to the 3 consecutive editions of Time magazine, she is one of the most influential personality. She is also awarded honorary citizenship of Canada, and she is the youngest person to ever address the House of Commons of Canada. I hope you like this video and you understand the power of women. So it's a very simple message that empowered women empowered the world. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.